All right, so today I'm going to remake my knockback video because there's a few things in there that I didn't really cover that well. So let's go ahead and do it again. All right, so I'm just going to replace this video with the last video. All right, so in order to get started, so we don't have to start and build a punch from scratch and everything, I'm going to use the end of my punch video, but this time I'm going to log in as somebody else. So this is the game that was produced by the punch video. Here's the URL. It'll be in the description. Click on it. You'll get these three dots here. You'll get edit. Click on that. And the one thing I wanted to show you is you won't be able to use the animation I created, and I want to show you how to get around that. All right. So, and you always get something like this, right? For loading, fail to load assets. It'll be fine. You'll be good. If we hit the play button, and I hit the F key, boom. You can't use my animation. So if you followed along in the video, you'll be all right. But if you just used my game, you're going to have to do a little bit of, there's a little workaround. It's not hard. Hit these plugins right here, animation editor. The reason I left Ralph in here was so that you can grab that animation. It's still in Ralph, right? NPCs, Ralph. It used to be dummy, right? In the video is dummy. I named him. And then saved anims, there's the punch. What you do is when you get that punch, it's right here. You might have to load it, but I didn't have to. Publish to Roblox, right? You publish this to Roblox. Now, this is your animation. You got an animation ID. Just copy it. And we're going to put that down here. Starter GUI, open this up, screen GUI, strike loc, the local script. Here's my hook anim. Put the animation, put your hook animation ID in there, or punch animation ID. Now you can punch, right? Surprisingly, everybody figured it out, but it's not fair. It's not fair for somebody who doesn't know how to do that. Boom. All right, cool. Now let's do our knockback. All right, so I'm going to go to server script service. This is where I do my damage for my strikes. If we open it up, this is what I want to look for. That's where I'm going to put my knockback because we know we're touching them, right? We're doing a take damage, so we can do a knockback. We can even put a little note here. Do knockback. Do knockback. All right, I can get rid of this. Give us some more space. But I'm going to do the knockback in a separate script, a module script, so I can call it from anywhere. Fight utils. That's what I'm going to call that script. Fight utils. I'm going to change this name to match a little closer. Fight utils. This name here and this name here must match, right? Doesn't have to match the file name. Let's make a function. We are going to use that name prepended to our function name, knockback, so we can call it from other places. We're going to pass in a player, let me make that capital, camel case, a player char and an e char for the enemy char. We need our player, we need our enemy. And let's just go ahead, check to make sure that the p char and the e char are there. If they are, let's get a player humanoid root part from the p char. Was that find first child? Humanoid root part. Nice. And then we'll get an E humanoid root part for the enemy humanoid root part from our ECHAR. Find first child. Oops. Humanoid root part. Make sure those are spelled right. Humanoid. There you go. If PCHAR and ECHAR, just check, just make sure they're there. Then we're going to go ahead and apply a force. Whoops, I forgot my E and my force. Instance, new. This is going to be body velocity. And we're going to put it on the enemy humanoid root part. Cool. And we'll get that force. Boom. We're going to have a max force. That's the maximum amount of force we're going to put on the axes. We're going to make it big, right? So we'll do a 1 by 1 by 1. Multiply by math.huge. What else do we need? We need a direction for our velocity. And I'm not going to use look vector because if I'm running away and I want to do a back kick, I want them to go in the right direction. So what I'm going to do is get the enemy humanoid root part. I'm going to get the C frame, position. How do I spell position? There we go. subtract P humanoid root part, C frame position. And we don't want magnitude, we only want direction. So I'm going to make it a unit vector. So it's going to be the direction of, and it's going to be length 1, right? That's what unit does. It normalizes the vector. So then we'll get our force, assign the velocity. We're going to use direction plus. So the direction is on an XZ component here because we're not using our Y very much because the humanoid root parts are about the same height. So let's pop them in the air a little bit by adding a vector 3 new 0, 1, and 0. We'll make that a unit vector in case, well, because this is going to be of length 1. This is of length 1 because it's only one value. You add them together, it's what, the square root of 2, which is like 1.414. So we'll make it unit again and then multiply by 50. I played around with these values. 50 seems to work pretty good. You can make it whatever you want. Actually, I think I just grabbed it from other people. Other people use 50 too. I played around with it though and found that 50 is good. All right, I'm beating a dead horse there. All right, let's do game debris add item. We want to get rid of our force in 0.25 seconds. We don't want them to just keep going and going and going and going. We're just going to apply the force for like a quarter of a second, and then we're gonna get rid of the force, right? We're also going to use a rotational force, right? Instance new, and this is body angular velocity, right? So they spin around. We don't want them to just be straight back. We're going to put it on the humanoid root part. We'll say rot for angular velocity, right? We'll set the angular velocity, and that's going to be what's going to be applied to the different axes of rotation. We'll do vector 3 new. We'll just spin them around every axis. And 2 pi, this is in radians, so 2 pi is 1 revolution per second. We'll go ahead and do a little bit more than 2 pi. Let's do math pi times 2.5, right? So it's going to spin around slightly more than 1 revolution per second. Did I say that right? I'm sure it's fine, right? You can play around with that one too. So the max torque is a lot like max force, so much so. We're just going to do that. Boom. And then we have our power for the rotation. This is how aggressive the torque is applied to the humanoid root part in this case. I put it at 10,000. Once again, I just see a lot of people use 10,000. Right? It works good. Game debris add item rot. We're going to remove our rotational force after 0.25 seconds. I think we got it. Let's go ahead, go to our strike right here under server script service, strike, do knockback. We have to require the script first. So we'll say local fight utils require game server script service fight utils. Go to our knockback, fight utils, knockback. We have to get a player character. So we do have a player. We're just going to get the dot character. And then we need an enemy char. We have one. A lot of times you just have the enemy humanoid, so the humanoid.parent would work there. And then let's add a zombie to our world and check it out. All right. Oh, and let's take the humanoid root part of Ralph, unanchor him so he can be knocked back too. Cool. Oh, let's open this. So we can go to home, toolbox, drooling zombie, drag him out. Now, oh yeah, scripts, that's fine. The way I did things here is all my NPCs I want to do damage to, I put in this NPC folder, right? So if you're using my game, you gotta remember that, right? Along with the animations. Cool. I'm just gonna nerf him real quick so I don't die in my demo. So go to configurations, damage. Instead of 30, I'm gonna make it 5. Boom. There we go. Maybe make it a couple more then. There we go. There we go. And they're all in my NPC folder. Cool. Let's play it. Let's start punching some zombies with knockback. There we go. Come here, zombie. Boom. Whoops. I'm a boomer. There we go. Boom. Nice. Boom. Cool beans. All right. And it's a little bit shorter than the remake too, or the original. All right, good luck with that. And see if you can add it to a weapon, right? But make that module script. Don't just add the code to your script. That way you can call it and you have it all in one place. So I will see you in the next video. Hopefully this was helpful.